for a murder charge, and this wasn't his first violent incident behind bars. The alleged attacker was identified by authorities as 42-year-old Santino Casio. Prison officials say he's serving a life sentence for second-degree murder and was previously convicted for an in-prison assault with a deadly weapon. So we're following the latest here on Live Now from Fox, and we're also learning more information about new evidence being brought forward in this case involving Tory Lanez. We watched it here on Wednesday as the legal team sought justice in the case of Tory Lanez. They presented new evidence that suggests he never fired the weapon the night Megan Thee Stallion was shot in the Hollywood Hills.
So that's huge. He never actually fired the weapon that ended up injuring Meg Thee Stallion. So that being the case, why is he where he's at right now? You know what I mean? There's so many things that go into this. Like it seems like there's a conspiracy at this point to keep this man in jail. Now, who's a part of it? Who's doing what? I guess we'll have to figure out here.
Lanez is currently serving a 10-year sentence for the shooting. The legal team alleges she lied about what happened the night she was lost. So let's take you right now out to some of these details here on Live Now from Fox from Los Angeles earlier on today about this new evidence being presented. We'll see if it has any legs in the courts. Let's listen into this here on Live Now.
Here, some really, really compelling new evidence that you've never heard before. Our legal team will explain all of that to you. We will have updates on Tory Lanez, Mr. Peterson, on how he's doing. It's really sad to see the situation that he's in. And we think it's time. Enough is enough. It's time to bring the brother home.
Yeah, so he was stabbed a few days ago in jail by some individual who's serving a life sentence for murder. So it's just that, like, things like that happen in jail, but it's like, why? It seemed like Tory Lanez, since he's been in there, he's actually been on the up and up. It looks like he's like healthier. He's like bulky, like all like ripped and stuff like that. He's still making music. It seems like he still has like high hopes. And he's like remaining positive, even though he's in a tough situation. And he just released an album that's doing pretty good. He makes great music that's still like probably doing way better than Meg Thee Stallion's music, or just a lot of people in general. And then just a few days ago, he just winds up getting stabbed like multiple times like that. Like, that's somebody who it seems like that was like, there was more to that. Maybe personal. Seems like that was kind of organized, set up, however that you want to say it. That it just doesn't seem right. And then now, days later after that, we're finding out that he wasn't even the one that even did it. And he's in a hospital, trying to heal from this incident. It's just crazy. We're finding this information out. Let's see how this goes.
So with that, I would like to bring up our lead consultant, Mr. Walter Roberts.
And here's my thing too. What happens to Meg Thee Stallion?
Good morning.
Some questions that need to be asked.
We are here today to bring to your attention some information Unite the People believes is exculpatory in Mr. Daystar Peterson's case, especially known as Tory Lanez.
About to go in.
Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence.
So real quick, some kind of news organization reached out to the three parties, Tory Lanez, this Kelsey woman, and then Meg Thee Stallion's party. They reached out. This news organization reached out to these three individual parties, and all of a sudden Tory Lanez gets stabbed. We find out that Meg Thee Stallion's party reached back out to this news organization, and then this happens. Let's hear from this gentleman here.
During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case. The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gascon, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell. Unite the People represents Daystar Peterson in his appellate process. We filed an appellate brief and a writ of habeas corpus on his behalf.
Okay.
The district attorney's office has already responded. The case is fully briefed. We're just waiting for the appellate court's decision. We were willing to wait for the appellate process to play out, but given that brutal, unprovoked attack, we felt it necessary to come here today to provide you with this information. It is our intention to make a request to the governor to either pardon or commute the sentence of Mr. Peterson, so that when
this is big. This is big time. Like a pardon is being talked about. This is like the highest level of like, get out of here, you're free. Like there is that we have here in the United States. Wow, this is crazy.
When he recovers from this attack, he's not returned to a jail cell,
right?
But that he's allowed to go home and recover.
Wow.
Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James.
Who's that?
Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do.
Wow.
Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Miss Harris had where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. The passenger side is where Miss Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete.
Wow, there it is. There it is. Shout out to Fox News. I'm going to leave that link in the description below at the like, share, and the subscribe button. Shout out to Tory Lanez. Let's hope this gentleman recovers from this stabbing incident. And he is able to clear his name because it sounds like there's some forces working against him, and he has a battle ahead of him. It's your boy Kicking It with Timmy B. We have an article here by the Hollywood Reporter. It's very interesting that they brought up that the New York Post, I think, wrote that op-ed and reached out. And they got some kind of reply back, and this is what happens. It's crazy. So the Hollywood Reporter goes, Tory Lanez legal team calls for pardon after prison stabbing, claiming new evidence in shooting case. Tory Lanez was stabbed in prison this week as he serves a 10-year sentence after he was convicted on firearm charges for shooting Meg Thee Stallion. Tory Lanez's legal team called on Gavin Governor Gavin Newsom to pardon the rapper or commute his sentence days after he was stabbed in prison this week, while further claiming to have new evidence in the rapper's case over the shooting of Megan Thee Stallion. So they're trying to get Gavin Newsom. Hey, Gavin Newsom, you gotta check this out. You gotta go check this out. You gotta help this gentleman out. Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, is currently serving a 10-year sentence after he was convicted on the 3 firearm charges over the 2020 shooting, which left Meg, whose real name is Megan Meat, wounded with bullet fragments in her feet. That's rhyming. Meat told the court that Peterson had shouted, "Dance, B-I-T-C-H," end quote, before shooting her. Peterson pleaded not guilty in the trial and is appealing the sentence. During a press conference held by Peterson's legal team, Unite the People, in downtown Los Angeles on Wednesday, the rapper's father, Sunstar Peterson, and his son was airlifted to a hospital Monday to treat his injuries. But that he's healing remarkably well following the unprovoked attack. The California Department of Corrections Rehabilitation confirmed Peterson was stabbed on Monday morning at 7:20 a.m., further stating that the authorities have launched an investigation into the incident. Peterson's rep said he was stabbed 14 times, including 7 wounds to the back, 4 to his torso, and 2 to the back of his head, and that both his lungs had collapsed. That's wild. Sunstar Peterson said on Wednesday that Peterson was also stabbed under his left cheekbone, and that his son was open, and that his jaw was open. Excuse me. Peterson is breathing on his own again, Sunstar Peterson said. And then it goes, Peterson's rep. Well, I'm glad that he's healing. It's just wild that somebody could like survive from this. This is like, man, it's gonna be a heck of a story, man. It's gonna be a heck of an album. Oh man, I digress. Peterson's reps said Newsom should get Peterson released, citing the stabbing, noting that if he is not pardoned and released promptly, he may never get out. Sunstar Peterson called upon both Newsom and President Trump to take action during his speech. Unite the People said it hadn't contacted the governor's office beyond making the call during Wednesday's press conference. Aside from the health update, both Sunstar Peterson and other representatives for Peterson had repeatedly stated that the rapper was never given a fair trial and claimed that prosecutors manipulated evidence to reach a conviction, specifically calling out former LA County District Attorney George Gascon. I remember that name. So he wasn't provided due process or fair due process or whatever. His team claimed to have received new evidence that Walter Roberts, who Unite the People CEO Cesar McDowell said was the team's lead consultant, stating that a man named Bradley James had approached the organization a few months ago, claiming to be the bodyguard of Pete's former friend, Kelsey Harris, during the trial. Harris was in the car with Peterson and Pete during the incident. Roberts claimed that the bodyguard had heard a conversation in which Harris said that she fired the gun while Peterson knocked the gun back. James was not among the speakers at the press conference Wednesday. Roberts said that the team hasn't gone to current District Attorney Nathan Hockman's office about the claims yet. Man, you got to go to the District Attorney's office for this. This is very interesting. Pete's attorney, Alex Sparrow, disputed Peterson's team's new claims in a statement to THR. Tory Lanez was tried and convicted by a jury of his peers, and his case was properly adjudicated through the court system, Sparrow said. This is not a political matter. This is a case of a violent assault that was resolved in the court of law. So apparently, this is wild. So they're gonna have to redo this whole case. They're gonna go through all the court cases, make sure he's able to have that due process, right? I hope so. Let's hope so. It looks like Chris Brown. I was hearing that there was some kind of Chris Brown tie to all of this, but I'll let that play out if that is the case. But apparently, Chris Brown is suffering, or he's in a situation for attacking a producer, allegedly. We'll see how that goes. But Tory Lanez, I hope he is able to heal from this and then get some justice, because it looks like some craziness is going on, and it looks like it's just beyond, I think, these two individuals, Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. I think this is starting to become a more broader issue, or there's a lot more people involved in this than we're able to see. So anyway, I'll keep you folks up to date with this information. Tory Lanez's legal team calls for a pardon after prison stabbing claims new evidence and shooting case by the Hollywood Reporter. I'll leave this link in the description below, along with the Fox News video that we checked out going over this. My thoughts: get this individual some justice, and if whoever did it needs to be tried for this, and we need to figure out who's involved with this, because this is crazy. It was a different time during COVID, like in 2020. There was a lot of stuff going on, and I think Tory Lanez was at his like peak, and then this just happens, and it just like destroyed this man's career, like reputation. It's just wild. You know, if he actually did it, then, you know, he needs to suffer the consequences. But if the individual didn't actually do it, or if there's evidence that state that he did not, we need to look into that, and he needs to be provided another trial, and we need to figure out what's going on. So anyway, it's your boy Kicking It with Timmy B. Hit the like, share, and the subscribe button. That's what I think. That's what the research that we just looked into. Let me know what you folks think in the comment section below. It's May 15th, 2025. Bye.